In issue number 386, April 2024, of the Blue Press publication by Dillon Precision Products, lies a brief article about the S&W Military and Police Hand Ejector Revolver, the Model 10. Within that article, a combat classic evaluation is cited. As I am showing now, this evaluation is a timed event of 30 rounds, being fired at an IDPA silhouette target from distances of 3 to 15 yards. The evaluation begins with one-handed shooting from a low ready and evolves into some two-handed, strong hand only, and one-hand, weak hand only transitions. Since the minimum distance to fire at my indoor range is 7 yards, I need to modify the evaluation a bit. I simply substituted the 3-yard and 5-yard stage with 7 yards. I also substituted the IDPA silhouette target with a standard silhouette target, as my range did not have any IDPA silhouette targets. Actually, the range-provided silhouette target is more of a challenge, since I am working with black sights on a predominantly black background, especially the head area. So, let me shut up and get started with Stage 1, 2 rounds in 1.5 seconds, strong hand, point shoulder position. Next up, Stage 2, 7 yards. On the signal, I need to fire 2 rounds to the body and 1 round to the head in 3.0 seconds. For Stage 3, I stay at 7 yards. Upon hearing the signal, I need to fire 2 rounds in 2 seconds, and repeat for a total of 4 rounds. It's time to move the target out to 10 yards for Stage 4, where it gets a little complex. Starting with only 2 rounds chambered, and upon hearing the signal, I need to fire 2 rounds, reload, and fire 2 more rounds within 10 seconds. I am still at 10 yards for Stage 5. Upon hearing the signal, I need to fire 2 rounds with both hands, 2 rounds strong hand only, and then 2 rounds weak hand only, for a total of 6 rounds, and do so within a time limit of 9 seconds. For Stage 6, which is still at 10 yards. Upon hearing the signal, I need to fire 1 round in 2.5 seconds, and then repeat for a total of 5 rounds, each being within 2.5 seconds of each other. We come to the final stage, stage 7. With the target moved out to 15 yards, I need to fire 6 rounds in 8 seconds upon hearing the signal. The one thing about shooting at paper targets, you get to see where the rounds impacted, and then count the round's impact value, and then receive a nice score to compare to other shooters when you are competing with folks who are shooting in the same direction as you are. In real life, it counts for little. What does count is the bad person's reaction to 1. Seeing that you have a self-defense firearm. 2. The dynamic condition of the person being shot should he or she continue on their planned route of doing you harm. And 3. How quickly did your shot or shots stop the threat? There is a wide variety of thought on the subject, and opinions vary from no shots at all to shooting through your entire ammunition supply, however much you are carrying at the time the event takes place. While exercises like that performed today are helpful, they are not a confirmation of how well I will do in a real-life encounter. Today's exercise only tells me that I can point the gun in the right direction. Nothing more, nothing less. Smooth double-action shooting does make for an easier time shooting the Model 10. The rudimentary sighting system is suited more for point-and-shoot situations. 38 Special 158 grain lead semi-wad cutter hollow point was a top defensive cartridge of the day, with a nominal muzzle velocity of around 800 feet per second, with 148 grain wad cutter ammunition being used for qualification. Today, a popular defensive load is 38 Special plus P Federal LE 158 grain lead semi-wide cutter hollow point with around 900 feet per second at the muzzle. Also today, ammunition like Black Hill's 125 grain jacketed hollow point can achieve an average muzzle velocity of 822 feet per second, while penetrating up to an average of 22.12 inches of ballistic gel. That's pretty impressive, especially since the test firearm was a Smith Wesson Model 640 with a 2-inch barrel fired at a distance of 10 feet from the target. Given the age of this Model 10, standard pressure loadings would work fine. Reserve the Plus P stuff for the more modern version of the Model 10, and then use sparingly at that. If you decided to carry a new version of the Smith & Wesson Model 10 revolver, a cylinder full of 38 Special Plus P Federal LE 158 grain lead semi-wide cutter hollow point with around 900 feet per second at the muzzle and 12 more in 2 HKS 10A speed loaders serve you well for most occasions.